This man had been feeding crows for years. Then one day, they surprised him with a gift he never expected. Crows are considered some of the smartest birds out there. They're part of a group called corvids, and they can do some pretty amazing things. They recognize themselves in mirrors, use tools, and even make plans for the future. These are mental skills that are closer to what we see in apes than in most other birds. Scientists think this might be because crows have a lot of brain cells dedicated to problem solving. And it turns out they've even started figuring out how to trade. Yes, like actual bartering. Stuart, a 59-year-old man living in Seattle, has been fascinated by birds his whole life. "Crows are just incredible," he said during an interview. "I've felt that way ever since I was a kid." He explained how birds in general have always played a big role in his life. "I love watching them, hearing their calls, figuring out what kind they are. And if I see one that's hurt or lost, I try to help." He laughed and added, "I'm not some hardcore birder with fancy binoculars or anything, but birds really do add something special to my days." It's this deep love for birds that has led Stuart to help any injured or abandoned birds he finds. But one bird species has truly captured his heart: crows. When birds are still really young, they can become super tame, Stuart said. "As a kid, I had a robin and a magpie. Since growing up, crows have been around me a lot too." He remembered one in particular. "We had a crow named the Judge, after the character in Blood Meridian, for about 10 or 11 years. He probably would still be with us if raccoons hadn't gotten to him one night." During that time, they took in quite a few other rescue crows too, raising and then releasing them. "There was one we got when it was still a baby," he said. "It got pretty tame, so we passed it on to a wild animal trainer. Last I heard, that crow's actually been in some movies." Along with rescuing birds, Stuart also just enjoys watching them do their thing in the wild. He keeps his bird feeders full every day so he can sit and watch the birds that stop by his yard. It's something he really looks forward to, seeing how they behave and interact with each other. But there's one bird family that's become especially close to him, a group of 4 crows living in a fir tree just outside his house. He first noticed them about 4 years ago, when they made their nest in a big Douglas fir near his home. He and his family could hear the young crows calling out from the branches, waiting to be fed by their parents. Stuart loved hearing those calls. To him, it meant more wonderful birds had just joined the world. But one day, as he was heading out of the house, something on his driveway stopped him cold. It was something he didn't expect, and it made him worry. Right there on the concrete, just beneath the big fir tree, were the 2 baby crows. Stuart's heart sank. How did they end up on the ground? He knew they were far too young to fly yet. What really got to him, though, was the danger. They couldn't protect themselves, and any nearby cat or wild animal could easily snatch them up. Without a second thought, Stuart gently picked them up, even though they squawked in protest, and brought them inside. He found an old shoebox for them to rest in while he figured out what to do next. He wanted to get them back to their nest as soon as possible. Then it hit him. He grabbed a ladder, propped it carefully against the tree, and climbed up to the nest. Luckily, he was able to place both baby birds safely back inside. "We got them into the tree," Stuart recalled. "Their parents were not happy with us, but they took over from there, and the little ones made it." Not long after that rescue, Stuart and his family began feeding the crow family. They wanted to make sure the birds had enough to eat so they could stay healthy and strong. At first, the crows were cautious. They weren't sure what to make of people offering them food, but over time their confidence grew, and so did their boldness. Eventually, they'd even demand snacks when they were hungry. "Sometimes when I'm out walking, they follow along," Stuart shared. "They'll perch on wires or branches above me, and when I get home, they often land on the fence waiting for food. Other times, they'll just sit somewhere nearby and call out. It's pretty clear when they want something to eat." Stuart feeds them dry cat food, good quality with hardly any filler. "Crows don't really care for corn as much as people seem to think," he added. Over time, Stuart even learned to tell each crow apart. "The adult male is easy to recognize," he said. "He hurt his right leg at some point, and it didn't heal right, so now he hops around on one foot. I really wish we could help him, but there's not much that can be done." "He gets around just fine otherwise," Stuart added. The baby crows were smaller and easy to tell apart from the adults, and the female didn't have any injuries, so Stuart quickly learned who was calling to him each time they showed up looking for food. For the next 4 years, he kept feeding the birds faithfully, until one day they did something that completely stunned him. It started off like any other morning. Stuart went through his usual routine and headed outside to feed what had become a family of 3. Sadly, the female crow had been taken by a raccoon one night. As he stepped out the front door with their food, something odd caught his eye near the doorstep. He bent down to get a better look. It was a small branch from the fir tree, but what really got his attention was what was on it. Right there, halfway up the branch, was the tab from a soda can. Stuart was puzzled. Where had this come from? Who had brought it? He figured it was unusual but kind of interesting, so he brought it inside and set it aside to take a better look later. But then, the next day, something even more surprising happened. As Stuart stepped outside again to feed the crows, he watched the male bird swoop down and gently place another fir branch on the driveway. Just like before, it had a soda can tab threaded onto it. Stuart stood there, amazed. "It was just like the first one," he said. "This isn't just generous, it's creative. It's like art." "I was honestly blown away," he wrote in a post online. The way these crows responded showed just how emotionally intelligent they really are. It was like they were saying thank you in their own special way for all the years Stuart had looked out for them and their little family. It also showed that these birds aren't just smart, they're clever enough to take 2 totally different things and put them together to create something meaningful. Some people might even call it a gift. Even if they never bring him another thing, Stuart will always be part of that crow family. What a truly amazing story. If you enjoyed this one, let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and share for more heartwarming animal stories. If you can't wait for the next one, check out the channel for more incredible tales waiting for you.